Closer to home and outside my window in Macquarie Street last night was a disgrace. It was a pro-Palestinian protest. They moved from the town hall to the Opera House, but Premier Chris Minns was right. He said the scenes were completely abhorrent. The Premier said the actions in Israel in the last 48 hours are issues of mass murder, indiscriminate murder and kidnapping of innocent civilians. To hold a protest and to celebrate these kinds of actions are the opposite of what we want in New South Wales and Sydney. You'll see some of those pictures on your screen. Earlier this morning, the New South Wales Attorney General Daley admitted he was not really across this disgraceful protest at the Opera House, the Attorney General. Fireworks and flares, look at it, lit up on the stairs of the Opera House. But moments after the blue and white colours of the Israeli flag lit up the Opera House sails, members of the crowd who'd earlier marched from Town Hall started screaming, F Israel and F the Jews. One flare, as you saw there, was thrown into the Opera House steps. Men, women and children chanting, Free Palestine, and shouting, Allahu Akbar, that's God is great in Arabic. Led in part, tragically, by a small boy hoisted onto shoulders and wielding a megaphone. By 9 p.m, they left the Opera House steps, marching back through Circular Quay. An Israeli flag was ripped up and stomped on. There were police everywhere, riot squads. I know the police have a difficult job. I don't think this police commissioner, the woman has really got, we don't even see her. What's her name? Karen Webb. But surely to goodness, the New South Wales Police Minister, Yasmin Catley, is completely out of step when she tells Jewish residents in Sydney to stay at home because the police cannot guarantee their safety. So in other words, you allow a pro-Palestinian march in the CBD. Members of the Jewish community might want to attend the Opera House. Their people are being murdered in Israel. And here is the police minister telling the Jewish community to stay at home because the police can't guarantee your safety. Yasmin Catley, for God's sake, hand in your resignation. With all the instruments of the state, are we being told that New South Wales police can't keep the Jewish community safe? This police minister is out of her depth. Her leader, Chris Minns, approved the lighting up of the Opera House as a mark of respect to the Jewish community. What must that community think when they're told by the police minister, stay at home? Chris Minns, I think you've got to get rid of this woman. And as for the police commissioner, Karen Webb, does anyone know who she is or where the hell is she in all of this? Well, I got a couple of questions that the Premier and the police minister need to answer. Why was a man arrested for carrying an Israeli flag? Why were protesters supporting a designated terrorist organisation in Hamas? Why were they not arrested? Why was no one charged for shooting a projectile, as in flares, and lighting fires, Israeli flags, on the Opera House steps, and no one is charged? Is it okay in this state, in this country, for people to be openly supporting terrorist organisations and getting away with it? And this includes children. This is sickening and unacceptable anti-Semitism. In 2003, President George W. Bush said that the free world, those who love freedom and peace, must deal harshly with Hamas, and that Hamas must be dismantled. 2003. Nothing's happened. Barack Obama said in 2014, I have no sympathy for Hamas. I have great sympathy for the ordinary people who are struggling within Gaza. But Hamas survives. Their charter calling for Islam to obliterate Israel. Enter again Donald Trump. None of this happened under his administration. He's now saying that a deal that the Biden administration reached with Iran, freeing up $9.4 billion in oil funds in exchange for prisoner release, was to blame for the increased aggression of Hamas. Donald Trump said, I will not be at all surprised if part of the tremendous wealth that they just accumulated went into securing this level of aggression. Rightly, Trump said of Hamas, they didn't have that level of aggression with me. I wrote a chapter in the book published by a young man who used to work for me, Jake Thrupp, called Australia Tomorrow. It's a collection of essays. My chapter was entitled The Crisis in Western Political Leadership, where I quoted from the 17th century poet John Milton writing his pastoral elegy Lycidas. Milton wrote, I quote, the hungry sheep look up and are not fed, but swollen with wind and the rank mist they draw, rot inwardly and foul contagion spreads. Well, the hungry sheep are you people out there saying, where are the leaders? Here we see a foul contagion and the crisis in Western political leadership, the crisis of response. It's unfashionable to say it, but I'll say it again. Name one leader other than Trump who has the power and the common sense to deal with this crisis. Successive presidents have talked about dealing harsher with Hamas. Hamas is still there, and humanity itself is now on the rack. Daniel Pipes, the president of the Middle East Forum, writing in the Wall Street Journal, said simply, after Saturday's vicious assault, the time has come for Israel to obliterate Hamas. The world must support Netanyahu. But if the West has poured all of its resources into Ukraine, what does it have left to contain this horrific war in the Middle East? Ponder that question.